Afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this meeting of the Hunters Hill Local Planning Panel on the 28th of February 2024. My name is Leslie Finn and I'm the chair of today's panel. With me today on this panel is Miss Virginia Wise, who's sitting opposite me, who's the representative from the local community. Next to her is Mr. David Logan, town planner and heritage expert. And sitting on my right is Mr. Chris Young, also a town planner and a traffic planner. The panel members have all signed conflict of interest forms, which are available for you to see on the council's website. And I understand that no members of the panel have a conflict of interest in either of the matters that are before the panel today. I should advise you the meeting is being videoed and recorded, so anyone, I would be grateful if you could please turn off your mobile phones. There are no speakers registered today, so I was about to tell you all that you can only speak for 3 minutes, but there are no speakers registered today. The panel members, we've all taken a view of both sites before today's meeting, and walked around the street, so we're familiar with the sites. And the first matter on today's list is for me to move that the minutes of the panel meeting on the 23rd of November be adopted, and I do so move, and I ask for a seconder.
I'll second that.
So that those minutes are adopted. Now, the first item before us today is an application for various works at 22 Barons Crescent. Demolition, subdivision, construction of a dual occupancy on one lot, a dwelling on another lot, and associated earthworks and landscaping. There is no one registered to speak in relation to that matter, and I'm wondering if any of the members of the panel have any questions they want to raise as the applicant is in the room.
No, Madam Chair, not much.
I'd just like to understand the trees that are being removed. I'm not sure who to address the question to. Maybe applicants planner here, or
No, I think it's just the applicant.
okay. So council's planner, Michael,
Yeah.
Michael, yeah.
Michael, can you?
There we go.
There is there.
Oh, you'd think after spending all day on this technology, I'd know what I was doing. But anyway, okay, thank you, Madam Chair, members of the panel. This application's had a rather long history. It started off back in 2021, and whilst it was still under consideration, the applicant took the matter to the Land and Environment Court for a deemed refusal. Now, there were a lot of issues associated with it, mainly removal of vegetation, excavation, location of buildings, impact on the bushland nearby. There was also quite a fair bit of resident opposition to it. It was then, it got to the point where it was a number of things were agreed in principle that had to be amended. That then, but one of the terms of that agreement was that the applicant had to withdraw their proceedings in the court, and they were also meant to withdraw their current DA, or this DA. For whatever reasons, they withdrew the proceedings, but they didn't withdraw the DA. And then eventually it made its way onto my desk. So I then issued an information request, a pretty substantial one that resulted in a number of changes, but also, more importantly, was intended to clarify and confirm whether or not the key agreements that had been reached in the proceedings between council's appointed experts had actually been satisfied. And that's resulted in some drawings, some amended drawings. Now, it was following your request there, Chris, The applicant only just this afternoon tendered some amended drawings, so I don't know whether or not you got to see those.
We'll get to it in a minute.
Okay.
I think David Logan was asking a question about the trees.
Yeah. So basically, I've spent a fair bit of effort trying to confirm that the trees that were going to be, that had been agreed to be kept, they have been kept. The most important one was a rather large fig tree. And so the design was amended to keep that. There's no tree removal being done below the pool area, even for the APZ, with the exception of one, now I can't remember if it's dead tree. I think there's one tree sort of below the pool, but not in the bushland, that's got to come out to satisfy the APZ. And there were also landscape plans. I don't know if they were included in the amended package. I'm only just looking at those myself. But there was quite substantial supplementary landscaping provided, which Council's landscape advisor has been happy with in the context of the court proceedings, and the trees that were meant to come out and the ones that were meant to be retained.
So Michael, do you know the import of the changes that are on this set of drawings that we've just been presented with?
Now, I believe they were clarifying dimensions. Now, they've summarised. They said they fixed the site analysis sun path so that we no longer have a 3 or 4 a.m. sunrise. Dimensions, additional levels on plan as requested, added a longer east elevation, added an additional A0 page for section BB for enlargement, because that was at quite a ridiculously small scale. They added levels and pitch on roof and adjoining properties, and amended shadow diagrams to include 3D, which is based on the position of the sun. So, yeah. So I haven't interrogated the plans yet. I've only just not long received them to confirm that they've actually provided the information that Chris has requested.
Does anyone want to ask any questions of the applicants who are here? No. David?
Michael, are you satisfied that it's possible to turn from the driveway, which is very steep, into the car park entry? Because when I look at the section through the driveway, it appears that half of the basement level is higher than the corresponding level of the driveway. And I'm looking at drawing A202 revision C. And I just wonder whether the only possibility of turning into that basement level is for half of the width of the opening, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Are you talking the duplex or the single dwelling? Sorry, David.
Sorry, this is the duplex.
Duplex. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And drawing number was what? Sorry.
A202C revision C.
Oh, okay.
The one. So it's on. It shows probably most clearly on the set that we've just been given.
Yeah.
A3 set.
Okay. Yeah, because I've only got that amended update revision E, which is WD drawings. I mean, based on that, those drawings there, so they're showing the car park at 32.18, the driveway at the opening 32.267.
Well, not on the drawing that I'm looking at.
Okay.
Basement 32.45. So if you look at, have you got A202 revision C?
I will have it somewhere. Duplex architecturals. E202. No, the only drawings I've got are W. Oh, hang on, sorry, A202. Okay, yep. Oh, okay. So what you're seeing there, I think, is the driveway at the boundary. There, yes, and it shows that there's an angle at which that driveway is sort of carrying on, and then crossing into the basement.
Yeah. So can
Yeah.
you see the driveway? So the driveway would be the same level all the way to the house, right? So for the full width of the driveway, the levels would be the same.
Yeah.
And where it meets the house and the entrance to the basement, it seems to me when you look at that section through the driveway, which they call the east elevation,
Yeah.
it seems that only half of the driveway would be above the level of the basement at the entrance there. So turning in,
Yeah.
I just wonder
Yeah.
whether it's possible to physically do that.
I'm wondering, David, the client, the applicant architect is here, perhaps.
Right.
Would you like to ask the applicant's architect?
Yep. Yes. Sure.
Yeah. Well, I guess, sorry, to preface that, David, I would have been relying on the advice of council's development engineer, who hasn't raised that as an issue.
Right.
But through that, I guess you could say, through the throat of the driveway, I'm seeing levels change from 32.36 in the centre of the driveway down to 32.26 at the outer face, and then 32.45, which doesn't quite correlate because the turntable is at 32.18. 32.13 would be the underside of it.
Yeah. You got the same situation shown on A204 as well, Doug.
Yeah. So I think what happens is it slopes down across the driveway. So it slopes into the house.
Not clear, is it?
No, it's not clear. Across the driveway.
David, would you like to speak to the council, to the client, to the applicants?
Yeah, I think maybe the applicant's architect
would
explain that.
Members of the panel may have some questions, and I get the feeling you'd like to answer them.
It's just, I do want to reiterate that I'm not the registered architect. I did draft.
You're a draftsman. Perhaps you'd like to say your name clearly for the purposes of the record, because you're being videotaped.
Name is Herman from the City Architects. Actually, relating to that question, it will be in
Perhaps if David could ask the
Ye-
question of you, that
Yes.
will be properly recorded.
Okay, so can you please explain how the cars would enter from the driveway, and just explain the apparent anomaly in the levels, because we've got a number of dimensions in the garage. At the edge of the turntable, there's a figure 32.45. So that's just at near the entrance to the driveway. Can you see that? And then further in, there's 32.13, which appears to be a 1 foot, roughly 30 centimetre level difference. And then the driveway itself is shown as 32.36 at the midpoint of the entry, going down to 32.267, and then stepping up again, from what I can tell, but I don't quite know how it all works and whether it would work.
Yeah, so just going off those levels that you're mentioning,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at, I think you're referring to 32.18 and 32.13.
Yeah.
That's the levels of the garage. Actually, that's the natural ground line of the rock.
Oh,
that we
okay.
have retained. If you look on to the
Right.
right underneath the car, there's an RL of 32.45.
Under which car?
So duplex 1 underneath.
Just there.
Oh, okay. Yep. That's the basement level, is it? 32.45?
That is correct.
Okay, so all right. So 32.45 is the level throughout there. Okay, so go up from 32.267. Okay. So that's 180 millimeters, something like that. Rise.
The reason why it's risen is because we had to retain that rock and brick excavated, so that's why there's an increase.
Right. But you're confident you can do that, can you? So you're coming down and then you're on a slope across the driveway into the house, and then you're going up again 180 millimeters over a short distance.
According to the traffic engineer report. Off diagram, that was
Right. Okay.
Well, just looking at that on A202, when I look at that cross section there, it's showing me that on the left hand side, or the southern side, if you like, it's got 32 point, what is it, 6 something, 648, 32.648 on that part, and then when you get to the right of the door on that diagram, you're down to 32.090. So that while you've got a flat floor on the garage, you've actually got the driveway coming down that's higher on one side of the garage, and then it's lower by the time you get to the other side of the door.
So the actual alignment of that, you actually don't have enough platform
There's
of
not
the same level.
there's not the same level. Yeah.
Rather than a discussion, you could ask the
so
grass.
according to traffic report, if we included the display, which you can see where the driveway is on WD 100, if you look at that document, there is a splay that turns into the basement garage, basement, which helps as according to their traffic engineer.
Whereabouts is that splitter?
So where you read 32.36.
You can see that. Sorry, you can see that on drawing WD 100. A plan. You can see there's a splay on the balustrade or wall of the driveway going in towards the opening. Can you see that, Chris?
Oh, it's wider.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that still doesn't fit. The levels are still different.
Yeah.
We have the discussion later.
Okay. Well, we're just trying to clarify.
I'll ask him to clarify. Any further questions? David?
So the significant trees, how many trees are being removed altogether?
Sorry, I'll just go back to the arborist report.
Because it's not clear on the drawings which ones are being removed and which ones.
No, and the problem lies in the fact that there were two different designers or three, I think, actually, because when you take into account you have the holistic landscape plan plus two different architectural studios involved. Okay, so the latest arborist response was there was a recommendation to remove 33 trees. Of the 33, 9 are exempt trees under the DCP, 8 are indigenous, leaving 16 mixed species. The landscape plan by Zenith Landscape Design includes the replanting of 2 scribbly gums, 5 cheese trees, which were noted, I think, because of their fire retardant properties, 5 blueberry ash, 2 grey myrtle and 22 magenta cherry trees and 13 dwarf lily pillies, making a total replacement of 49 trees. And they're all species that can grow to a height in excess of 5 metres. So that's double what the non-exempt trees were to be removed. Tree 20, which is Eucalyptus botroides, which had a high retention value, is now proposed for retention as the driveway is going to be suspended over the root plate. Tree 28, the cheese tree, can be retained as the retaining wall to the east is now to be constructed over an existing wall that has acted as a root barrier.
Michael, question. Sorry, can I just?
Well, I perhaps you can ask Michael later, because
Okay.
it really should be asking
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
if you would
Yep.
like to.
No, it's not a question for Michael. Not, but yeah.
Yep.
Do you have any further questions?
No, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
If nobody else wants, there's nobody else registered to speak, so I can advise that the decision of the panel will be available on the council's website tomorrow. Thank you very much for your attendance. And now we move to the next matter.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your attendance.
Thank you. I think maybe it's been revised since then.
Lady with the blonde hair.
Oh, that's the applicant first.
Okay,
Live.
who was the lady with the blonde hair? Oh, so she's an object.
No.
She's got one of the units and the others.
Bushy.
Applicant, one of the unit.
Oh, okay. All right.
She's the applicant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we're still live.
Okay.
Okay.
We're
Yeah,
still live.
good.
Okay.
Yes.
So that clarifies.
Well, okay, that's all right. Well, that's been clarified.
Excellent.
Now, perhaps we could then now move on to the next matter, which is a rezoning application. Or planning proposal for a rezoning. There are no persons registered to speak. So, what is the view around the panel? Planning proposal
I support the.
supported?
I support the recommendation.
Yeah, support the recommendation, yes.
Virginia? Support the recommendation? Yes, is that a yes?
Yes, I do support the recommendation.
And I support the recommendation. That's the end of the meeting.
We're going to do you want to close the meeting?
Sarah's
that's
wondering
yes.
whether you want to close, stop the recording
Well, that
before
you
the
can stop it.
deliberation.